Let me tell you something. One of the biggest mistakes you're making right now is stressing over what others think. You're so caught up in explaining yourself, justifying your choices, seeking approval, and proving your worth that you're draining the energy you actually need to create the life you truly want. It's time to stop. Here's the reality. You don't owe anyone an explanation for improving yourself. You don't have to announce your plans. You don't need permission to grow. You simply need to focus, take action, and stay quiet. Talking about your dreams and aspirations may seem like a good idea. After all, we're often taught that voicing our goals out loud makes them more real and can be a strong motivator. But in truth, revealing your plans too soon can be one of the biggest missteps you make. The moment you share your ambitions, you open yourself up to opinions, doubts, and unnecessary distractions that can throw you off course before you even get started. When you tell others about your big dreams, you expect enthusiasm and encouragement, but that's not always what you receive. Instead, you might be met with skepticism, criticism, or even indifference. Someone might say, "Are you sure you can do that?" Or, "That sounds really challenging." Even if they mean no harm, their words plant seeds of doubt in your mind. Suddenly, you start questioning yourself. Maybe they're right. Maybe it is too difficult. Maybe you don't have what it takes. And just like that, the excitement and confidence you once felt begin to fade. There's also a psychological factor involved. Research shows that when you talk about your goals, your brain experiences a small dopamine release, the same kind of reward you get when you actually accomplish something. The problem? This can create a false sense of achievement. You feel good simply by talking about your plans, which can make you less likely to follow through with real action. Saying, "I'm going to start a business," tricks your mind into believing you've already made progress, even if you haven't taken the first step. Another problem with seeking validation is that it shifts your focus to external approval instead of internal motivation. When you share your goals, you unconsciously begin looking for reassurance from others. You want to hear, "That's amazing, you're going to do great." But what if they don't react the way you hoped? If the response isn't as enthusiastic as expected, it can cause you to doubt yourself. This changes your motivation from being self-driven to being dependent on what others think, which is dangerous. Motivation that relies on approval crumbles the moment that support is taken away. Beyond that, not everyone deserves to hear your plans. Some people will project their own fears and limitations onto you. They don't believe in themselves, so they struggle to believe in others. When you share your dreams with the wrong people, you risk absorbing their negativity. If they wouldn't take the risk themselves, they'll try to convince you not to take it either. Their doubts have nothing to do with your potential and everything to do with their own fears. But if you're not careful, their words can start shaping your mindset. It's also crucial to understand that discussing your goals might make you feel like you're making progress. But in reality, nothing changes until you take action. The time and energy spent explaining your plans to others could be used to actually start working on them. Instead of talking about writing a book, start writing. Instead of announcing you're getting in shape, just go to the gym. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Keeping your goals private protects them. It creates a space where your vision remains untouched by negativity, judgment, and distractions. It allows you to fully focus on the work rather than worrying about how others perceive it. The less you talk, the more you do. The more you do, the more progress you make. Not everyone in your life is rooting for you. It's a difficult truth to accept, but the sooner you acknowledge it, the better off you'll be. When you decide to level up, change your habits, or chase a goal that pushes you outside your comfort zone, you might assume the people around you will support you. It's not always the case. Some will question your choices. Others will downplay your progress. A few might even try to hold you back. The reason? Your growth makes them uncomfortable. When you start improving your life, it forces others to face the fact that they're staying the same. And that's not something everyone can handle. If you're evolving, it highlights the fact that they're not. If you're taking action, it reminds them of all the times they've procrastinated. Instead of being inspired, some will feel threatened. Instead of cheering for you, they might criticize you. It's not because you're doing anything wrong, it's because you're challenging their perception of themselves. This is why protecting your energy is essential. Every day you make choices about where to invest your mental, emotional, and physical energy. If you're not careful, you'll spend more time defending your decisions than actually progressing. You'll get stuck in discussions with people who don't understand your vision. You'll waste energy trying to convince someone why your dream matters, when in reality, they were never meant to see it in the first place. That energy could have been spent working on your goal, improving your skills, or simply staying focused. Some negativity won't be direct. It won't always come as blatant criticism, but rather in subtle, dismissive remarks. Someone might smirk when you mention your dream. They might roll their eyes. They might say something like, that's nice, but do you really think it's possible? These small, repeated moments of doubt can wear you down. Even if you were confident at first, constant exposure to skepticism can make you start doubting yourself. That's why minimizing negativity isn't just an option, it's a necessity. Another way people drain your energy is by constantly demanding explanations. You don't owe anyone a justification for improving yourself. You don't need to explain why you're spending less time socializing and more time working on your goals. You don't have to prove to anyone that your dream is worth pursuing. Every time you explain yourself, you're giving away energy that should be reserved for taking action. The truth is, some people don't actually want an explanation, they just want to slow you down. They want to pull you into discussions that create self-doubt. You might also notice that some people will support you only as long as you remain at their level. The moment you start surpassing them, they become distant or even resentful. It's nothing personal, it's just human nature. Growth reveals who is truly in your corner and who is only comfortable with you when you weren't challenging their own self-picture. Pay attention to how people react when you succeed. Do they celebrate with you or do they go silent? Do they encourage you or do they make subtle negative remarks? Their reactions tell you everything you need to know about who truly deserves access to your energy. At the end of the day, your dreams belong to you. Guard them. Protect your focus. Let your results speak for themselves. The world doesn't need your words, it needs your action. Your energy is limited. You can either spend it trying to prove yourself to people who will never truly understand you, or you can use it to build the life you actually want. The more time you waste on negativity, the less time you have for growth. The more you entertain doubts, the less space you have for confidence. The people who genuinely support you won't need endless explanation. They'll recognize your effort, respect your boundaries, and most importantly, they'll celebrate your success instead of feeling threatened by it. Your energy is one of the most valuable things you have. Every day you wake up with a limited supply of mental, emotional, and physical energy. How you use it determines the direction of your life. The problem is most people don't guard their energy. They let it drain away by overthinking, explaining themselves to people who don't matter, and getting distracted by things that add no real value to their growth. If you are serious about achieving your goals, you have to start treating your energy like a valuable resource, because once it's spent, you don't get it back. One of the biggest ways people waste energy is by constantly trying to justify their choices. You don't have to explain why you're focusing on yourself, why you're setting boundaries, or why you're choosing a different path. The more you try to make others understand, the more exhausted you become. Not everyone is meant to understand your journey, and that's completely fine. Instead of seeking approval, redirect that energy into taking action. The people who truly support you won't need explanations. They'll see your effort and respect your choices without questioning them. Another way your energy gets drained is by engaging in negativity. Whether it's toxic conversations, unnecessary drama, or people who constantly doubt you, every moment spent on negativity is a moment stolen from your progress. You need to be mindful of who and what you give your attention to. If something or someone leaves you feeling drained rather than uplifted, it's time to walk away. Protecting your energy means being intentional about where you invest your focus. Overthinking is another silent energy thief. The more time you spend analyzing, doubting, and second-guessing yourself, the less energy you have for action. While planning is important, nothing changes until you actually take a step forward. Instead of endlessly thinking about what could go wrong, take the first step. Progress happens through movement, not through overanalyzing. The more you guard your energy, the more power you have to create the life you want. When you stop explaining yourself, stop engaging in negativity, and stop overthinking, you free up energy to focus on what really matters. The key is to be intentional. Decide where your energy goes, and make sure it's being used to push you forward, not hold you back. Most people spend more time talking about their goals than actually working on them. They get excited about their plans, tell everyone about their ambitions, and spend hours discussing what they're going to do. But here's the truth. Talking about your dreams doesn't make them a reality. Only action does. The more time you spend explaining your goals, the less time you have to actually work on them. Success doesn't come from announcements. It comes from effort. The problem with constantly talking about your plans is that it creates a false sense of achievement. When you say, "I'm going to start a business," or "I'm going to get in shape," your brain rewards you with a small dopamine hit, making you feel like you've already accomplished something. This tricks you into thinking that just verbalizing your intentions is the same as making progress. But there's a big difference between saying you'll do something and actually doing it. Oh, high value. You don't need to discourage you. Not resting legislation. You don't need to talk about what you're going to do. You need to be other than the illusion. The best way you know it, any excuse, any thought, any excitement, not resting excuse. You know, not illustration. Not everyone will believe in you. Not everyone will be supportive. No one's accept them. No one accept them. No one refer to you. No one ever except when the best ability. School. If you rely on others' approval for motivation, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. You don't need permission to chase your dreams. You need discipline. Every time you talk about your goals instead of working on them, you delay your own success. Action is what separates dreamers from achievers. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have truly succeeded. They didn't get there by talking about their plans. They got there by putting in the work. They moved in silence, letting their results speak for them. That's exactly what you need to do. It's easy to feel like you're making progress just because you're researching, planning, or discussing your next move. But none of that matters if you're not taking real action. Planning is important, but at some point you have to stop preparing and start executing. Don't get stuck in the cycle of overthinking and over-explaining. Start taking steps forward, even if they're small. Silence is powerful. When you stop talking about every move you make, you remove unnecessary pressure and distractions. You give yourself the space to focus fully on your work instead of worrying about what others think. You stop looking for external validation and start trusting yourself. You stop wasting time convincing others and start proving things to yourself. Success doesn't require approval, it requires action. Another benefit of moving in silence is that it protects your momentum. When you talk too much about your goals, you expose them to doubt and negativity before they even have a chance to grow. People will project their fears onto you, telling you why it won't work, why it's too risky, or why you should be more realistic. And if you're not careful, you might start believing them. But when you stay quiet and focus on your work, you keep your momentum strong. You build confidence through action, not words. Talking less and doing more also keeps you accountable. When you constantly announce your plans, it's easy to feel like you're making progress even when you're not. But when you keep your goals to yourself, you have no choice but to prove them through action. No one is watching, no one is expecting updates, it's just you and the work. That's where true growth happens. The most successful people don't waste time explaining themselves. They don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan or the perfect approval. They just start. They focus on execution, on consistency, and on improving every single day, and because of that, they win. That's what separates those who succeed from those who only dream about success. The real question is, which one are you going to be? Discipline is the key to success, yet many people struggle with it because they let distractions take over their lives. In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere. Social media alerts, endless scrolling, and meaningless conversations that add no value. The issue is that every time you allow yourself to get distracted, you lose sight of what truly matters. You slow down progress, waste valuable time, and make it harder to stay committed to your objectives. If you truly want to accomplish something meaningful, you must put discipline first. The reality is, most distractions are self-created. People don't just get distracted by accident, they allow themselves to be pulled away from what truly requires their attention. It often begins with something small. You tell yourself you'll check your phone for just a minute, and before you know it, half an hour has passed. You open social media for motivation, but end up comparing yourself to others, feeling disheartened, and losing your drive. You sit down to work, but get sidetracked by messages that could have easily waited. These seemingly small moments add up. And before you realize it, the entire day has slipped away without anything significant getting done. Discipline is about taking charge of your time and focus. It means choosing what deserves your attention and eliminating everything that doesn't. The most successful individuals in the world don't have extra hours in their day, they just use their time differently. They don't waste hours on distractions. Instead, they establish clear priorities, develop structured routines, and remain committed to them. They don't depend on motivation because they understand that motivation fades over time. Rather than relying on feelings, they develop habits that keep them on track even on days when they don't feel like working. That's what separates successful people from those who fall behind. One of the biggest sources of distraction today is social media. It's intentionally designed to capture your attention, make you scroll endlessly, and flood your mind with unnecessary noise. While social media can be a great tool for learning and networking, for most people, it's nothing more than a time waster. The more time you spend watching other people's lives, the less time you have to create your own. If you truly want to succeed, you must learn to control how you use social media. Set boundaries, unfollow accounts that don't bring value, and use it with intention rather than out of habit. Another major distraction is the constant search for instant gratification. People often get caught up in short-term pleasures like binge-watching TV shows, playing video games for hours, or aimlessly browsing the internet because these activities provide immediate enjoyment. However, true success isn't built on quick wins. It's the result of consistent effort over time. Discipline requires making sacrifices, giving up temporary pleasures for long-term rewards. It means choosing to work on your dreams even when it's not exciting, even when you feel like taking a break, and even when no one is watching. Procrastination is another way people let distractions control their lives. Many delay taking action, waiting for the perfect time or the ideal plan, but the truth is, perfectionism is just an excuse to avoid starting. There's no such thing as the perfect moment, and the perfect plan doesn't exist. The only way to move forward is to take action now, no matter how messy or uncomfortable it feels. The longer you delay, the harder it becomes to begin. Discipline is about forcing yourself to take action even when it feels difficult or uncertain. What sets high achievers apart from those who remain stuck is their ability to stay disciplined. It's not about simply working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about tuning out distractions, focusing on what truly matters, and showing up every single day. The people who accomplish great things aren't necessarily the most talented or the most resourceful. They are the ones who refuse to let distractions dictate their lives. The real question is, Are you willing to do what it takes? The only way to see real transformation in your life is to remain consistent. Most people start strong. They set goals, create a plan, and feel inspired at the beginning. But over time, that initial motivation fades, challenges arise, and excitement disappears. This is where most people give up. They convince themselves it's too difficult, that it's taking too long, or that maybe it's just not meant to be. However, the truth is, success isn't about being the smartest, the most gifted, or the luckiest. It's about staying dedicated for the long haul. Consistency is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who merely dream about them. Anyone can put in effort for a few days, a few weeks, or even a month. But can you keep going when no one is watching? Can you maintain your discipline even when results are slow? Can you keep pushing forward even when it feels like nothing is working? These are the questions that determine whether you will succeed or fail. Most people quit right before they start seeing results because they expect immediate rewards. They fail to understand that success is built through small, repeated efforts over time. When you stay consistent, you build momentum. It's like pushing a heavy object. It takes a lot of effort to get it moving at first, but once it starts rolling, it gets easier to keep it going. The problem is, most people never push long enough to reach that momentum. They start and stop, lose focus, and then wonder why they aren't making any real progress. The secret is to show up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're exhausted, and even when the results aren't visible yet. That's what leads to lasting success. One of the biggest mistakes people make is relying on motivation. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. If you only take action when you feel motivated, you will never be consistent. The key is to develop discipline and build habits. When an action becomes a habit, you do it automatically without needing to overthink. You don't wake up every day questioning whether you should brush your teeth. It's just part of your routine. That's how you need to treat your goals. You must make your actions so consistent that they become part of your daily lifestyle. Another reason people fail to stay consistent is that they set unrealistic expectations. They want rapid results, and when they don't see immediate progress, they feel disappointed and give up. But real progress takes time. The individuals who succeed are the ones who trust the process and keep putting in the work, even when there are no immediate rewards. It's all about improving by just 1% each day. Those small improvements may seem insignificant in the moment, but over weeks, months, and years, they add up and lay the foundation for long-term success. Being consistent also means being disciplined in how you manage your time and energy. Many people waste hours on things that don't bring them closer to their goals. Mindless distractions, negativity, or unproductive activities. To stay consistent, you must be intentional about how you spend your time. This means setting boundaries, creating a structured schedule, and removing anything that slows you down. It means prioritizing your future self over momentary comfort. Success isn't built overnight, but it is built through daily effort. Every choice you make is either bringing you closer to your goal or keeping you stuck in the same place. The decision is yours. Thank you.